TABA, Transportes Aéreos da Bacia Amazônica, was a Brazilian airline founded in 1976. It ceased operations in 1999. History. On November 11, 1975, the Brazilian federal government created the Brazilian Integrated System of Regional Air Transportation and divided the country in 5 different regions, for which 5 newly created regional airlines received a concession to operate air services. TABA, Transportes Aéreos da Bacia Amazônica S.A. was the first of those regional airlines to be made operational. Its services started on April 29, 1976, and its operational area comprised roughly the northern parts of the central west regions of Brazil, specifically the states of Acre, Amazonas, Amapá, Rondônia, Roraima, and parts of Pará and Mato Grosso. The history of TABA can be traced to the 1960s, when Marcílio Jacques Gibson, who, decades earlier, had been one of the shareholders of Lloyd Aéreo Nacional before it was sold to VASP, bought Nota Norte Taxi Aéreo based in Belém. This air taxi operator belonged to the son of the owner of Paraense Transportes Aéreos. When, in 1970, Paraense ceased operations, Gibson used his air taxi operator to fill the void left by Paraense, particularly in the states of Pará and Amapá, offering flights to locations that ceased to be served by air services. During this time, flights were operated by Beechcraft E-18s, H-18s aircraft configured for 9 passengers. After the closure of Paraense, Nota added to its fleet the Curtiss C-46 Commando and Fairchild Hiller FH-227B that previously belonged to Paraense. It was on the foundations of Nota that TABA was created. The former fleet of Nota was further enlarged by the addition of a few Embraer EMB-110 Bandeirante. In November 1980, TABA had services to 34 cities with a fleet of 10 Embraer EMB-110 Bandeirante and 4 Fairchild Hiller FH-227B. Between 1983 and 1985, TABA operated 2 British Aerospace BAE 146 on the trunk route Belém-Valdecias, Itatuba, Alta, Floresta, Cuiabá, Vilhena, Ji-Paraná, Porto Velho. However, high operating and maintenance costs led TABA to end the leasing contract. When in 1991 the federal government lifted the geographic restrictions for the operations of regional airlines, TABA inaugurated services to Rio de Janeiro, Santos Dumont and Belo Horizonte Pampulha, linking those 2 cities to its already established network in the Amazon basin. During this time, TABA also initiated the renovation of its fleet, replacing the Fairchild Hiller FH-227B for Bombardier Dash 8-300. In 1992, TABA started services to Georgetown, Guyana, being the first regional airline to establish international flights. TABA operated 2 Fokker 100 between 1993 and 1995, but increasing economic difficulties led to the end of the lease contract. In an attempt to replace services operated by those aircraft, TABA chartered a Boeing 727-200 belonging to the Brazilian charter operator Airvis on weekdays. The contract ended in November 1995 when Airvis ceased to fly. Operations with the Dash 8-300 were also cancelled in 1996 and aircraft were returned to the lessor. In 1997, TABA was already in serious economic trouble, and finally in 1999 it ceased operations. Destinations. TABA operated an extensive network in the northern and central west regions of Brazil. Fleet accidents and incidents. Accidents: the 31st of January 1978, an Embraer EMB 110 Bandierante registration PTGKW crashed upon takeoff from Aéreos. A crew of 2 died but all 14 passengers survived. The 12th of June 1982, a Fairchild Hiller FH227 registration PTLBV en route from Aéreos to Tabatinga on approach to Tabatinga collided with a pole in poor visibility and crashed onto a car park. All 40 passengers and 4 crew died. The 23rd of June 1985, an Embraer EMB 110 Bandierante registration PTGJN flying from Wara to Cuiabá while on approach to land at Cuiabá had technical problems on engine number 1. An emergency landing was attempted but the aircraft stalled and crashed 1 kilometer short of the runway. All 17 occupants died. The 6th of June 1990, a Fairchild Hiller FH227 registration PT Ica flying from Belém Valdecans to Cuiabá via Altamira, Santarém, Itatuba and Alta Floresta, while on approach to land under fog at Altamira, descended below the approach path, collided with trees and crashed 850 meters short of the runway. Of the 41 passengers and crew, 23 died. The 25th of January 1993, a Fairchild Hiller FH227 registration PTLCS operating a cargo flight from Belém Valdecans to Altamira crashed into the jungle near Altamira during nighttime approach procedures. A crew of 3 died. The 28th of November 1995, a Fairchild Hiller FH227 registration PPBUJ operating a cargo flight from Belém Valdecans to Santarém crashed on its second attempt to approach Santarém. A crew of 2 and 1 of the 2 occupants died. Incidents: the 6th of March 1991, an Embraer EMB 110 Bandierante flying to Manaus was hijacked near São Gabriel da Cachoeira by 3 persons. The 15th of December 1994, an Embraer EMB 110 Bandierante en route from Carazuarientefe to Manaus was hijacked by 2 Colombian citizens. The passengers were released in the proximity of Tabatinga and the aircraft was flown to Colombia. A crew was released at the Brazilian embassy in Bogotá.